Just imagine that tomorrow there's a catastrophic event which is going to occur. What will you do? The first thing which one person would do is run downstairs. Some would run with their special materials or special gifts. What I would do, you guys know. I would run away with some books. And what would be if I would definitely have a limited number of books that I can carry. So what would be those 5 books that I would carry in case there's a catastrophic event tomorrow? This is what we are going to do in this video. Welcome back to the channel, guys. I hope you're doing absolutely fine, and this is a new series of videos where I try to give you some book recommendations, book suggestions through unique ways and creative ways. I hope you like it. The first book that I would pick up from the bookshelf and run downstairs would be Shantaram by Gregory David Roberts. It's a very long book, and I have discussed and I have made so many book reviews on this book that I don't think I need to discuss this book anymore, because if you are a good and very ardent reader, you would definitely have come across Shantaram, which is an amazing book. It's a semi-autobiography written by Gregory David Roberts, and it's a novel of high adventure, great storytelling, because from the first page itself, it's something that you would fall in love with. Foreigners love this book because it tells you the beauty of India. It also tells you the dark side of India. And if you don't like Shantaram that much because of the book length, I would suggest you a book by Aravind Adiga, which is The White Tiger, and it has similar storyline, but not with the plot. I mean, the plot is different, but it's also something which displays the dark side of India, and it is by the point of view of a driver which goes in for fetching a job in Delhi, while Shantaram is a story of a prisoner who escapes from Melbourne's prison, comes to India, lives in Mumbai, and then the story goes on. Shantaram, I feel, is a story of loss, love, redemption, and all these genres make it very, very intriguing for me, and it makes a plot very, very likable for me. So I would definitely go with Shantaram, because that's a book that I really, really like, and I would definitely pick this book as the first book out of those 5 books that I would carry with myself if there's a catastrophic event tomorrow. I love suspense a lot, and that's a genre which I really, really like. There's so many books over the years that have come which has this genre of thriller, suspense, mystery, and Stephen King is one of the authors that does it really well. Dan Brown, there are so many other authors as well. Silent Patient was a very good book. What else did I read? Never by Ken Follett was a really good book on suspense, mystery, thriller. But here's one book by Dan Brown that I really, really love, and guess what? This is not Da Vinci Code. I don't really like Da Vinci Code that much, but this is Angels and Demons by Dan Brown, and it's the first in the Robert Langdon series. The reason of liking this book is that it is historical. There's too much of history, but again, it's fast paced. It's not like Da Vinci that you get bored and you have a lot of historical facts coming in. Da Vinci Code was the best-selling novel, and Da Vinci Code was the one through which Dan Brown, I would like to put it that way, through which Dan Brown got famous or got his fame. But Angels and Demons is a book that I really, really like. It's based on Illuminati. If you don't know what Illuminati was, it was a secret society of highly intellectual people, and they gathered with each other, discussed. It was back in the 16th century. So that is what this book is about, and it tells you how Illuminati has returned on the world and threats are being sent to CERN in Switzerland. And before you read this book or you buy this book, I would definitely want you to have some knowledge about Illuminati and have some knowledge about CERN, which is based in Switzerland. So a lot of facts in this book are true, though it's a fictitious work by Dan Brown, but this is definitely going to make the list. Third book, if you haven't guessed yet, it's an unforgettable, extraordinary, emotional, redemption, loss, love, so many themes that it covers, and I absolutely love the way he writes. It's Khalid Hosseini's The Kite Runner. This is the very first book that I reviewed on this channel, and this book is also the book that I really, really love. And not that it was my first book that I read, it was not my first book that I read. I read it way after I read my first book, but it's based in Afghanistan. It's written by Khalid Hosseini. There's a lot of, it's a story of two friends and how they grow apart, and there's just too much going on in this book. It's a story of Amir and Hassan, the two childhood friends, and then how things lead to other things, and how they break up with each other and they move to different places. It's really emotional to read this book. And there was also a movie which can completely shatter you. Obviously it's a story of Afghanistan, so there are a lot of heartbreaking scenes and heartbreaking emotions written down in this book. We all know how Afghanistan was in 1970s and 80s, and how it still is. But 1970s and 80s, those were the times when things were not really good in Afghanistan. So this book provides you an inside story of Afghanistan. And there was also a movie of Kite Runner which was made just after the book released in 2004. The movie came out in, I guess, 2005 or 6. It's not in English. It's probably in Persian or some other language. I don't exactly know which language is it. But you can rent it on YouTube, I guess, and watch the movie. You can watch it with subtitles, definitely. But I would definitely want you to read this book if you haven't yet read it. So this makes the third book in the list that will go with me if there's a catastrophic event. The fourth book is a book that I have not talked about on this channel yet, but I was more into poetry last year than I am right now. But I would still give you an insight about this book. And this book is something which definitely inspired me to a lot of extents, and I was able to relate with the book. It is Charles Bukowski's The Pleasures of the Damned. It's a fat book. It's a poetry collection, and it's a collection of dark poetry. It's dark poetry because there are themes of loneliness. There are even suicidal themes in it. I would not recommend it to everyone, definitely, because it is not something that anyone can handle. It's really dark at sometimes, and I just like the way he has written it, and his writing style is something which made me a fan of him. So not because I was able to relate with the events that were going on in the book, but I was definitely in love with the way he has written it. So I definitely love nicely worded poems. So that's what were there in in the book. So these have all the poems of Charles Bukowski, selected poems from 1951 to 1993. It's very, very raw. It's very, very unfiltered, and you will definitely love it if you like dark themes. So yeah, for me, I loved Charles Bukowski a lot, and I really, really like this book for some reason. I keep on going back some way or the other because there are a lot of famous and a lot of famous backdrops and a lot of poems that I like in this book. So I keep on going back and forth. So I would definitely not want to lose this in a catastrophic event. The fifth book that will make this list is The Beekeeper of Aleppo, and I have also reviewed this. The review of this book is actually the most viewed video on my channel ever. So I don't know how that happened, but The Beekeeper of Aleppo by Christy Leftery is really, really good because it's a journey of refugees from all the way from Syria to UK, and how they cross borders and how things happen. So journey of refugees are something that are not really covered in fiction works. So this is one such book which does it. It's a story of Nouri and Afra, and there are a lot of emotional journeys yet again, because The Kite Runner covered it. Beekeeper of Aleppo does it as well. If you don't like the Beekeeper of Aleppo, then you should increase your reading taste, or at least try to improve your reading taste, because I really don't know why you would hate this book. There's nothing to hate about this book. But if you want to, these are the 5 different books that I would carry with myself if there's a catastrophic event, if somehow the sun swallows the earth. This is what I am going to carry with myself. If I survive, I'll definitely love being in love and reading these books every day, because I can do it over and over again and I won't get bored. If you like The Kite Runner, which is a book by Khaled Hosseini, and Christy Leftery's The Beekeeper of Aleppo, I will definitely recommend you to read Thousand Splendid Suns and The Mountains Echoed, both by Khaled Hosseini. And then I would want you to read, there's a book that I'm reading right now. It's A House Without Windows, and it's a similar story based in Afghanistan, and it is really, really good. And I think it's by, I always forget the author's name. It's by Nafra Hashimi, if I'm not wrong, Nafida Hashimi, something like that. But yeah, it's a really good book. You should check that out. In the Wars is also a very, very good book. And if I had to suggest one more, I would go with The Boy in Striped Pajamas. That's it. I think that's, yeah. A Pearl That Broke the Shell is also really, really good. So these are the books, some book recommendations that I gave you. I hope you check them out. I hope you tell me what more you want. I hope you give me some book suggestions, because I would definitely love to read them out and check them out as well. So we'll meet next Sunday with another book review and another book series. So till then, bye bye. Thanks for watching the video.